Hello Canon EOS M and Magic Lantern fans. One of my recent videos, a comparison between the Sigma 1835 and the Canon 1855 kit lens, got a ton of comments, likes, and support from you guys, and honestly, I'm really grateful. That kind of feedback truly motivates me to keep creating. If you haven't seen that video yet, make sure to check it out. And to everyone who watched, liked, or left a comment, thank you so much. So today's video isn't about lens comparisons or Magic Lantern settings. Instead, I want to talk about something a little different, why I still choose to shoot with this old camera. And actually, if you've been following my channel, you'll know that I haven't been shooting with the Canon EOS M for all that long. I picked up this little gem about a year ago, maybe a bit more. Why I chose this specific camera, well, that's probably a story for another video. In today's video, I want to share my experience of using the EOS M over the past year, what it's been like, what I've learned, and why I plan to keep shooting with it moving forward. So, the first reason why I actually enjoy shooting with this camera might sound a little strange. It's the challenge. I know that may seem odd or even funny, but hear me out. What I love about the EOS M is that it's not an easy camera to use. And that's exactly the point. It forces me to think ahead, to plan carefully before I even press record. I'm constantly considering which shooting mode to use, what time of day will give me the best light, and even what the weather's gonna be like. So shooting with this camera makes you approach filmmaking more intentionally. You start thinking through every step of the process from preparation to the actual moment of recording. It's not just point and shoot. With this camera, you plan your settings, your scene, your timing, and this makes every shot more meaningful and valuable to you. When I talk about the challenges of shooting with this camera, I don't just mean the technical stuff. I'm also talking about the form factor. The Canon EOS M is a tiny, budget-friendly camera that was originally designed for beginners, and it definitely comes with its fair share of design limitations. I still remember the first time I picked it up, I literally said, "Damn, this thing is way too small for my hands. I need a cage, like right now." And that's the thing, solving those problems often means finding your own solutions. It's a bit like owning an old car. It's not perfect out of the box, but if you're willing to tinker with it and make a few upgrades, the process becomes part of the fun. And the reward is a much more satisfying experience behind the wheel or behind the lens. And as you slowly start to overcome all these challenges, you naturally become part of the Canon EOS M community. You find yourself diving into YouTube, discovering other creators and fans who are just as passionate about this little camera. You see how they've built their setups, learn from their experiences, and get inspired. Sometimes you'll think, "Whoa, that guy's rig looks awesome. I should try building something like that." Or this creator recommends shooting in that mode. I've got to test it out. And honestly, that's what makes the whole process so exciting. You're not just using a camera, you're joining a creative movement where everyone is experimenting, sharing, and helping each other get better. And as you've probably guessed by now, the second big reason I keep shooting with this camera is you. No, seriously. The EOS M community might be small compared to other camera systems, but it's incredibly friendly and supportive. So many times, I've found solutions to problems just by reading your comments or watching videos from other creators. It's amazing how much knowledge and passion people share, and being part of that makes the experience so much more rewarding. And now we've come to the third reason why I continue shooting with this camera, and that's the final image. Once you've worked through all the limitations, learned how to set it up properly, and mastered the different Magic Lantern modes, the results are absolutely amazing. You're capturing beautiful raw footage, something that was once reserved for high-end cinema cameras. And the Canon EOS M is still, to this day, the most affordable camera that can shoot raw video at this level. So, you've finally mastered Magic Lantern, worked around the camera's limitations, and now you've got your beautiful raw footage. But then, bam! Now it's time to dive into a whole new world, learning how to process and work with raw video. That means getting into color correction, raw development, and a bunch of post-production techniques. It might seem overwhelming at first, but trust me, it's all part of the journey, and honestly, that's one of the things I love most about this whole journey. You're constantly learning. When I look back at some of my first videos, I think, oh no, what was I doing with that color grade? But you know what? That's actually a good sign. It means I'm growing. I'm not saying I've nailed it now, far from it. But compared to where I started, the progress is real. And that's what makes this process so exciting. There's always something new to learn, try, and improve. So here we are, reason number 4 why I absolutely love this camera, the lenses. Now I know the EF-M system didn't get a huge native lens lineup. Let's be honest, it's kind of limited, but that is the not problem. Thanks to adapters, this tiny camera opens the door to a massive world of glass. You can mount anything from vintage cinema lenses to high-end modern cineglass, all on this tiny mirrorless body, and that gives you an incredible range of creative freedom. Whether you're going for a dreamy vintage aesthetic or a clean cinematic modern look, it's all possible. In fact, this entire video is being filmed on a super cheap Soviet lens, the Helios 44-2. It costs next to nothing, but I absolutely love the character it brings. That soft, swirly bokeh and warm vintage vibe. And here we are. The final reason why I keep shooting with the Canon EOS M, it's the feeling of uniqueness. It's hard to put into words, but I'll try. There's just something special about knowing that the footage I capture with this camera has its own character. This little device is over a decade old, and yet it delivers a look that feels different, personal, even a bit nostalgic. Sure, you can take footage from a modern camera and grade it to look similar to the EOS M, but it's not the same. There's a certain charm in using a camera that not many people still shoot with. It's a bit like shooting film photography. People don't do it just for the result, they do it for the process, for the feeling, for the story behind each frame. That's how I feel with this camera. It's not perfect, it's not the easiest, but it makes the process meaningful and the result truly one of a kind. So yeah, the Canon EOS M may be old, but it still has something special. It's not just about specs, it's about how it makes you feel when you shoot. And for me, that feeling is worth holding on to. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, it helps more than you think. And if you're into budget-friendly gear, raw video, and creative shooting, go ahead and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.